The transport shuddered violently, a metallic shriek ripping through the cabin as alarms blared. 8-year-old Lyra Vance, strapped tightly into her seat, felt her mother Alara's hand grip hers, heard her father, Commander Jax Vance's terse, "Hold on!" before darkness swallowed them. The impact was a brutal symphony of tearing metal and collapsing structure. When Lyra's eyes fluttered open again, a dizzying ache pulsed behind them. She lay amidst twisted wreckage and strange, vibrant purple flora under 2 alien orange suns. Her small body ached. Her arm throbbed, and a profound, terrifying silence had replaced the chaos. "Mom? Dad?" Her voice was a weak, fearful whisper, lost in the vast, alien landscape. With a child's raw instinct for survival, Lyra dragged her injured body towards a gnarled rock formation, seeking shelter. She curled into a tight ball, her small hands clutching her throbbing arm, calling for her parents until her throat was raw and her voice gave out. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, a frigid cold descended, stealing the last vestiges of warmth from the alien day. Profound darkness enveloped her, punctuated only by the faint, shimmering glow of distant ethereal lights. They moved slowly, deliberately, through the swaying purple grasses, growing steadily brighter, slowly approaching her makeshift hiding spot. Lyra's fear, once a primal scream, now settled into a chilling, silent dread. The approaching lights resolved into small, upright forms, their bodies appearing to be sculpted from living crystal, glowing with an inner luminescence. Lyra, wide-eyed and trembling, squeezed her eyes shut, bracing for the unknown. But when she dared to peek, one of the beings, slightly taller than the others, approached her. It emitted a series of soft musical sounds, like chimes carried on a gentle breeze. Its large, luminous eyes held no malice, only an ancient, profound kindness. Slowly, cautiously, the other crystal creatures gathered around her, their combined glow subtly radiating a gentle, life-saving warmth into the deepening chill of the alien night. The eldest of the Kaelen, his inner light a steady, deep gold, knelt before Lyra. This was Xylos, a being whose existence spanned millennia. He extended a delicate crystalline limb, offering a small, glowing orb of water. To demonstrate its safety, Xylos brought it to his own mouth, a faint, harmonious ripple passing through his form. Despite her parents' strict warnings about consuming anything from an alien world, Lyra's thirst was a desperate, burning need. She drank deeply, the cool liquid a balm to her parched throat. Other Kaelen then approached, presenting strange purple berries and nuts, eating some themselves with reassuring, soft chimes, inviting Lyra to share. Her trust, born of pure necessity, began to bloom. The Kaelen, with their acute senses, noticed Lyra's injuries. Gently, with an almost surgical precision, they cleansed her cuts, their crystalline hands, surprisingly soft. They then applied a soothing, fragrant mud, cool against her skin, before carefully wrapping her arm in broad, soft alien leaves that seemed to pulse with faint light. Overwhelmed by their selfless care, Lyra, unable to speak their musical language, offered the only thanks she knew. She hummed a soft, familiar lullaby, a melody her mother Ilara often sang to her. In response, the Kaelen began to hum back, their entire crystalline forms resonating with gentle, harmonious sounds, weaving a shared, wordless song that filled the shelter with an unexpected peace. Through the long, cold night, the Kaelen maintained their vigil. They took turns watching over Lyra, their soft, comforting sounds a constant presence. When her small cries for her parents escaped her, they would draw closer, their collective warmth a silent, reassuring embrace. By the second day, Lyra's small body was racked with fever, weak and disoriented, yet the Kaelen never wavered. They continued to offer sustenance, to tend her injuries, and to simply be there, a steadfast, glowing circle of quiet companionship. Lyra, though fading in and out of consciousness, felt their unwavering presence, a profound and alien gratitude settling deep within her. On the third day, a familiar, thunderous roar broke the alien quiet. Human engine noise, search ships. Lyra's heart leaped with a frantic hope, but her body was too weak to even lift her head. She watched, through half-closed eyes, as the Kaelen, instead of retreating into the shadows as any sensible creature might from a powerful, unknown arrival, began to glow with an astonishing intensity. Their inner light pulsed, growing brighter and brighter, a beacon against the purple sky. Then, with a concerted effort, they unleashed a chorus of loud, vibrant musical sounds, resonating through the air, guiding the human rescue teams directly to Lyra's hidden location, heedless of any danger to themselves. The human rescue ship landed, kicking up a storm of purple dust. Lyra's parents, Lyra and Commander Jax Vance, were the first out, their faces etched with desperation and hope. They ran towards the wreckage, then froze, confronted by the sight of the glowing crystal beings surrounding their daughter. "They helped me," Lyra whispered weakly, her voice barely audible, but her parents understood. Commander Jax Vance, a man of military discipline and immense pride, stood tall, then, to the astonishment of his crew, bowed deeply to Xylos, a profound gesture of respect and gratitude. Xylos, in turn, bowed, a silent acknowledgement of the bond forged. Lyra, gently placed on a stretcher, managed a faint wave to her alien protectors as she was carried away, leaving a legacy of kindness in her wake. In the quiet hum of an Earth hospital room, Lyra Vance watched her daughter, Lyra, slowly recover. "Tell me about the crystal people again, sweetie," Lyra whispered, stroking Lyra's hair. Lyra, though still pale, smiled faintly. "They were nice, Mommy. They made me warm." Commander Jax Vance entered, a datapad in hand, his face a mixture of relief and intrigue. He showed them blurry photos of the Kaelen. "They're called Kaelen," he explained softly. "Preliminary reports suggest they're highly intelligent, choosing peaceful lives despite our mining operations nearby. And there's something strange about their energy readings. Unusual signatures, unlike anything we've ever seen." A subtle mystery began to weave itself into their profound gratitude. Lyra's gaze lingered on the Kaelen's image, a deep longing in her eyes. "I want to see them again to thank them properly," she murmured, her voice filled with a child's earnestness. Lyra, her heart swelling with emotion, squeezed Lyra's hand. "Then we will," she declared, her resolve firm. Jax, observing the powerful bond Lyra felt, nodded. As he began to sift through the logistical data for a return trip, his brow furrowed. More comprehensive analyses of the Kaelen's settlements revealed repeated energy anomalies, patterns suggesting a technological sophistication that defied their seemingly simple, natural existence. The Kaelen were far more than just crystal people. The story of Lyra Vance and the Kaelen's selfless act spread like wildfire across human space. Lyra, sharing Lyra's account with her sister at the Colonial News Network, ignited a spark that became a blaze. News feeds pulsed with images of the glowing beings, and social media erupted with comments. "These beings are heroes. We owe them everything." Humanity, long accustomed to a cold, competitive galaxy, experienced a profound moral awakening. A collective desire to repay such unexpected kindness swept through the colonies, inspiring an unprecedented surge of compassion and unity. Kepler 442c, the distant purple world, was no longer just a mining prospect. It was becoming a beacon. Within weeks, a remarkable pilgrimage began. Private ships, laden not with weapons but with supplies, aid, and human expertise, doctors, teachers, artists, flocked to Kepler 442c. The planet's small spaceport, once bustling only with corporate mining vessels, now teemed with grateful human families. Mining supervisors, like one gruff individual from the Galactic Trade Consortium, fumed at the disruption. "These are just animals," he scoffed. "Why is everyone making such a big deal?" His contempt only fueled humanity's outrage. The new arrivals, in a gesture of profound respect, unofficially renamed the planet Haven, a sanctuary for the Kaelen, and a testament to human gratitude. 2 weeks after the initial wave, the Vance family arrived on Haven, met by hundreds of other humans eager to witness the reunion. Lyra, still recovering but radiant with anticipation, made her way to the Crystal Gardens. There, amidst the shimmering flora, she found Xylos. The ancient Kaelen's inner glow brightened perceptibly upon seeing her, a silent, powerful affirmation of recognition and affection. Lyra gently embraced the crystalline being, and Xylos responded with a soft musical sound that resonated not just through the crystals, but through the hearts of every human present. Many moved to quiet tears by the profound, wordless connection. The air in the Human Government Council chambers crackled, with a tension thicker than any nebula. Holographic projections of Kepler 442c's rich crystal veins shimmered, obscuring the faces of the human officials gathered. Across the table, the Galactic Trade Consortium representative, a multi-limbed reptilian-like being named Xylar, oozed condescension. "These are just primitive aliens," Xylar hissed, his multiple eyes narrowing. "You cannot let emotion get in the way of progress. Our contracts are clear." Senator Valerius, a man known more for his economic acumen than his empathy, shifted uncomfortably. "Are we truly willing to risk galactic war for this sentimental attachment?" he murmured, glancing at Admiral Serena Thorne. Thorne, however, stood unyielding. Her gaze, firm and resolute, met Xylar's. "Some things are more important than profit, Senator," she declared, her voice cutting through the room's unease. She saw the Kaelen not as resources, but as a mirror reflecting humanity's own potential for true honor. Days later, the grand, multi-species assembly of the Galactic Council watched with a mixture of curiosity and disdain as Admiral Serena Thorne approached the central podium. This was a rare, solemn occasion, not typically reserved for the affairs of a single, relatively young species like humanity. Thorne's uniform was crisp, her bearing unwavering. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice resonating with a quiet authority that belied the immense pressure on her shoulders. "We are here to discuss a matter of honor, a debt owed, and a new path for our shared galaxy." As she spoke, holographic images bloomed around her. Lyra Vance, small and vulnerable, then cradled in the gentle glow of a Kaelen, and finally, Commander Vance bowing in silent gratitude. She laid bare Lyra's story, framing it as a profound lesson in selfless kindness, a testament to humanity's moral evolution, and a challenge to the old, cynical order of the stars. "Earth hereby declares the Kaelen species to be under our protection." Admiral Thorne's voice rang with iron resolve, echoing through the vast chamber. "Any aggression against them will be considered an act of war against humanity." The declaration hung in the air for a beat, then chaos erupted. The consortium representative shrieked, "You cannot do this. This is madness. These creatures are non-sentient." Dozens of other species representatives burst into a cacophony of protests and shocked exclamations. Thorne stood her ground, her face a mask of stoic defiance. Yet, within her, a tremor of doubt wrestled with fierce conviction. She felt the immense weight of this gamble, the personal risk, the future of humanity hanging in the balance. But there was no other honorable path. The Kaelen's kindness had forged a debt humanity could not, would not, ignore. Miles away, in a grim, metallic war room, Warlord Kaelus of the Hegemony watched the Council's chaotic broadcast with a sneer. Around him, Admiral Thixera and General Vakrin mirrored his contempt. "Humans," Kaelus rumbled, his voice gravelly with derision. "Protecting weak creatures because of one crying child. They are truly soft." The Hegemony leaders scoffed, their predatory instincts offended by such an absurd reason for war. The crystals on Kepler 442c, Admiral Thixera purred, her voice a low growl, are worth more than most star systems. A weakness we will exploit. They plotted a swift, brutal attack, confident that humanity's sentimentalism would crumble before their might, utterly underestimating the fierce resolve that lay beneath the human declaration. High above Haven, the battleship Tarara's Wrath held silent vigil. On its bridge, Commander Jax Vance, Lyra's father, stood like a statue carved from granite, his gaze fixed on the vast expanse of space. His tactical officer's voice was calm, but the data on the screen screamed urgency. "Commander, 6 Hegemony fleets, heavy configuration, massive hyperspace signatures, it's them." Jax's jaw tightened, but his voice remained steady. "Send the recall signal to all civilian transports. Transmit our final warning to the approaching enemy. And make sure our Kaelen friends are safe." His personal resolve was a bedrock in the face of the storm, fueled by the memory of his daughter's pale, grateful face and the silent, glowing beings who had saved her. Above the tranquil purple expanse of Haven, a terrifying spectacle unfolded. 6 Hegemony fleets, a steel-gray armada of predatory might, dropped from hyperspace in perfect battle formation. Their weapon muzzles glowed with an ominous, building energy, a silent promise of destruction. From the bridge of his command ship, Warlord Kaelen watched, a sneer twisting his face as Commander Jax Vance's calm, resolute voice cut through the comms. "Turn back now, or face the consequences." Kaelen merely scoffed, his gravelly voice booming across his bridge. "One human thinks he can frighten the entire hegemony? Pathetic. They are soft. They are weak. Prepare for assault." He underestimated humanity, a mistake that would soon echo across the stars. Warlord Kaelus's contempt was abruptly shattered. Just as his fleets began their advance, the void around them shimmered, not 1, but 3 full human battle fleets. Over 100 vessels materialized from hyperspace, dwarfing the Hegemony armada. Their arrival was silent, breathtaking, and utterly unexpected. Kaelus's eyes widened in genuine shock, his arrogance dissolving into disbelief. "How did they get here so fast? This is impossible," he growled, sweat beading on his brow. Then, Admiral Serena Thorne's voice, calm and commanding, cut through all comms, not just to the hegemony, but across the entire system. "You have made a very serious mistake, Warlord. The Kaelen are protected." Despite the overwhelming odds, Chaos, fueled by desperation and pride, ordered an attack. The ensuing battle was brutal, yet surprisingly brief. The human ships, moving with a synchronized precision the hegemony had never witnessed, did not aim to destroy. Their energy blasts targeted weapon arrays, disabled engine conduits, and cut power to shields, all while meticulously avoiding crew quarters. Hegemony vessels, suddenly adrift and defenseless, watched in stunned silence as human ships even formed protective screens around their surrendering brethren, a tactic utterly alien to their brutal philosophy. Human comms crackled with efficiency. "Target engines, disable weapons, avoid life support." Kaelus's flagship, now a dead hulk in space, was swiftly surrounded. He braced himself for the inevitable torture or summary execution, the traditional victor's justice. Instead, Commander Jax Vance's face appeared on his main screen, calm and unyielding, yet utterly devoid of malice. "Order your remaining ships to stand down," Vance stated, his voice even, "and we will provide medical assistance to your wounded and begin repairs on your vessels." Kaelen stared, bewildered. You would help us after we attacked you?" he stammered, his gravelly voice uncharacteristically weak. Vance's gaze was firm. "They taught me that kindness is stronger than cruelty, Warlord. We will not become what you are." Kaelen was utterly confounded. On a neutral station, human medical teams busied themselves treating hegemony wounded, while engineers, under the watchful eyes of their former enemies, began repairing disabled ships. Admiral Thorne met with the defeated hegemony commanders, her posture radiating quiet authority. Her terms were astonishingly simple. "You will leave the Kaelen alone forever," she declared. "In return, we will forget this attack ever happened." Kaelen, still reeling from the mercy shown, could only stare. "That's all?" he asked, his voice a guttural whisper. "You don't want tribute, territories, hostages?" Thorne merely shook her head, her unwavering commitment to the Kaelen's safety the only currency she sought. Far below, in the crystal gardens of Haven, Xylos and the Kaelen elders had felt the battle's vibrations ripple through their world. A younger Kaelen emitted worried musical tones, fearing they had brought disaster upon their human friends. Xylos's ancient form glowed softly, resonating with a reassuring hum. He knew. He had always known. This was not disaster, but revelation. Humanity had simply revealed its true nature, a nature the Kaelen had patiently observed for millennia, a part of a larger, ancient plan. 20 years had woven themselves into the fabric of the galaxy since the Battle of Compassion, transforming Lyra Vance from a lost child into a Colonial Defense Force lieutenant. Now 28, she moved through the shimmering crystal gardens of Haven, the vibrant hues of her uniform, a stark contrast to the ancient organic beauty of the Kaelen homeworld. By her side, Xylos, whose inner glow had dimmed slightly with the passage of 2 decades, walked with the same serene grace. Lyra had immersed herself in their culture, not just learning their musical language, but understanding the subtle shifts in their internal light, the nuances of their telepathic impressions. Yet, a quiet burden rested upon her shoulders. She was the catalyst, the spark that had ignited humanity's unprecedented shift in galactic policy, and the weight of that responsibility was immense, though unspoken. Xylos, ever perceptive, sensed the tremor beneath her outward composure. His musical tones resonated directly in her mind, a comforting, ancient melody. "Little star child," Xylos communicated. "You carry much. It is time for you to know the truth about us and why." A profound anticipation settled over Lyra, pushing aside her anxieties. She knew this moment had been coming. Xylos led Lyra deeper into the heart of the crystal gardens, where the very air thrummed with ancient energy. They stopped before a hidden fissure in the crystalline rock, which opened to reveal a chamber unlike anything Lyra had ever witnessed. Here, the crystals were not merely large. They were colossal, reaching to an unseen ceiling, each pulsing with a soft, internal luminescence that seemed to breathe with the planet itself. Xylos turned to her, his form glowing a little brighter in the hallowed space. His next telepathic impression vibrated with the weight of millennia. "We are not primitives, Lyra Vance. We are older than most species in this galaxy. We are the keepers of all that has been forgotten, etched in the living heart of our world." He extended a delicate, crystalline hand, touching one of the immense central formations. The crystal flared, and breathtaking images erupted around them. Holographic projections of ancient civilizations, their cities sprawling across verdant worlds, majestic starships traversing nebulae, then devastating wars, entire planets consumed by fire, and the silent, haunting images of species vanishing into the void. It was a living library of time, a galactic history lesson etched in light and sorrow. Lyra gasped, her mind struggling to comprehend the sheer scale of the Kaelen's secret. The immense holographic display shifted, showing the cyclical rise and fall of countless empires. Xylos's thoughts flowed into Lyra's mind, explaining the pattern. This cycle repeats 1,000 times across the cosmos. Species rise to power, driven by ambition, conquering and exploiting. They believe themselves mighty, but their cruelty and self-interest always lead to their eventual, inevitable fall. The images illustrated his words. A glorious civilization consumed by internal strife, another shattered by the very weapons it forged. Then, a new set of images appeared, small at first, almost insignificant. Lyra's own rescue, Commander Vance bowing, human doctors tending to Hegemony wounded, the Guardian fleet shielding disabled enemy ships. "But humans are different," Xylos conveyed, his musical tones imbued with a rare hope. "Your species feels responsibility for others in ways that transcend logic, even for those who would harm you. This is a rare gift. This is the seed of hope that you might break the cycle." Lyra grappled with the enormity of it all. The Kaelen had carried this burden of history, this profound knowledge, for so long. Now, they were entrusting it to humanity. "How can we bear such a burden?" she whispered, the responsibility feeling impossibly heavy. Xylos's glow pulsed softly, a beacon of ancient patience. "You will not bear it alone, little star child. This burden is now shared." He extended his crystalline hand, not as a gesture of command, but of profound offer. "We offer a covenant between our peoples. We will share with you the wisdom encoded within these living archives, the knowledge of what leads to civilizational collapse, and what fosters enduring peace. We will teach you how to read the whispers of eternity." Lyra looked at his outstretched hand, then back at the swirling visions of galactic history. "In return," Xylos continued, "you will help us guide younger species, those who have not yet walked the path of fire, those who are still learning the bitter lessons of conquest. You will use our wisdom and your inherent compassion to foster a new way." Lyra felt a tremor of awe, mixed with a daunting sense of destiny. This was more than an alliance. It was a sacred pact, a redefinition of humanity's place in the cosmos. "A covenant," she murmured, her voice barely audible. "A promise to the galaxy." Still overwhelmed, Lyra voiced the question that naturally arose from such a profound offer. "Why us, Xylos? What makes you think we won't just use that knowledge to become better conquerors, more efficient exploiters?" What makes us different from all the others who fell? Xylos's light brightened, a gentle, knowing warmth. Because of what your people did after the battle, Lyra Vance. When you defeated the Hegemony, you did not enslave them. You did not demand tribute or territory. You offered aid, repaired their ships, and simply asked them to leave the Kaelen in peace. He paused, his presence radiating an ancient conviction. That act, that unprecedented mercy, was proof. Proof that you are not doomed to repeat the old patterns of violence and acquisition. The bond between us was forged the night we found you, Lyra Vance, when you were a lost and injured child. That act of kindness, that is your true strength. It is the foundation of genuine compassion that transcends mere power. It is why we trust you. A montage of memories flashed through Lyra's mind. Xylos's gentle glow in the alien night, her father's solemn bow, the human fleet disabling, not destroying. It resonated with profound truth. 3 months later, the Great Crystal Amphitheater, a naturally formed cavern at the very heart of Haven, thrummed with an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from countless human colonies, their faces a mosaic of hope and determination, stood alongside delegates from other species, some curious, some cautiously optimistic. Admiral Serena Thorne, her posture as unyielding as ever, stepped forward. Before her, a glowing crystalline document floated, its symbols a harmonious blend of human script and Kaelen musical patterns. It was the Kaelen Covenant. With a steady hand, Thorne affixed her signature, a solemn act on behalf of all humanity. The terms were clear: Kaelen wisdom for human guidance, human protection for worthy species. Xylos, his form radiating a serene joy, offered his telepathic reply, translated for all to hear. We are students, teachers, partners in building something better, Thorne's words echoed. Xylos's voice, though translated, carried the weight of ages. Perhaps, with humanity, it is finally time to break the wheel of destruction, to forge a truly new path for the galaxy. Lyra watched from the side, a solemn pride swelling in her chest. The covenant was signed. A new era had begun. The celebrations faded. The delegates departed, and the grand amphitheater grew quiet. Lyra, however, found no rest. She retreated to her private quarters on Haven, the weight of the covenant settling heavily upon her shoulders. On her small desk, nestled beside her datapad, was a cherished, slightly faded childhood drawing of Xylos, a simple stick figure with a bright, glowing center. She traced its outline with a finger, reflecting on the improbable journey. Her innocent rescue, a child's desperate cry in the dark, had somehow led to this monumental responsibility, a promise made to the entire galaxy. A flicker of doubt, cold and sharp, pierced through her resolve. Am I worthy of this? Are we truly worthy of the Kaelen's ancient trust? Can humanity, can I, live up to such a profound promise? The pressure was immense, a silent, internal scream against the vastness of the cosmos. But then, a quiet strength, forged in the depths of her own experience and the unwavering faith of Xylos, asserted itself. Her jaw tightened, her eyes, now older and wiser, fixed on the drawing. We have to be, she thought, the doubt giving way to a quiet, fierce determination. The work had just begun. 50 years had woven new lines onto Lyra Vance Kaelen's face, lines of wisdom and command, but her eyes still held the clear, determined spark of the child who had found solace in crystal light. Now, as Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen, her name itself a testament to the Kaelen clan that had embraced her, she stood on the bridge of the Guardian flagship, the Eternal Promise. The sleek, advanced vessel hummed with barely contained power. Commander Torres, a grizzled veteran with a cybernetic eye, approached her. Distress signal, Admiral. Mallory system. Pirates, ma'am. A Hegemony splinter group. Lyra's gaze tightened, her maturity a cloak of grim resolve. The Mallory, a young pacifist species, were vulnerable. Signal the fleet, Commander. She ordered, her voice calm but firm. Send a message to those pirates. The Guardian fleet is coming. The galaxy had changed, and Lyra, its living bridge, was ready to defend that change. On the bridge of the Eternal Promise, Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen stood before a holographic display of 17 vibrant flags, each representing a species united under the Guardian fleet. Her image, projected across light years, appeared on the comms screen of the pirate leader, a hulking, sneering brute of a creature. "This is Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen of the Guardian fleet." Her voice resonated, calm and unwavering. "You have 1 hour to withdraw from Mallory space." The pirate leader scoffed, his image rippling with contempt. "You humans think you rule the galaxy now? You and your soft hearts? We are not afraid of your alliances, old woman." Lyra's expression remained unreadable, but a steely glint entered her eyes. "Then you're about to learn something new," she replied, cutting the transmission, leaving the pirate to ponder the quiet confidence that belied her words. Precisely 1 hour later, the Mallory system erupted with shimmering hyperspace portals. The Guardian fleet materialized, a breathtaking display of unity and power. Human battleships, their hulls gleaming, were flanked by elegant Kaelen crystal vessels, pulsing with a soft harmonic light. Alongside them flew Mallory hospital ships, ready for aid, and even vessels from reformed Hegemony worlds, their once predatory lines now repurposed for protection. The pirate fleet, vastly outnumbered 5-1, was caught completely off guard. Lyra's voice, calm and clear, again cut through their comms. "You still have time to surrender. We will not destroy your ships or harm your crews." The pirate leader, his face a mask of stunned disbelief, could only stammer, You offer us mercy before the battle even begins!" The Guardian fleet was indeed a new kind of might. The battle that ensued was brutal in its efficiency, yet utterly devoid of malice. Kaelen harmonic weapons pulsed, scrambling pirate electronics and disabling shields without a single explosive impact. Human ships, under Lyra's precise command, executed intricate maneuvers, surgically targeting engines and weapon systems. When one desperate pirate ship attempted to use Mallory civilian transports as shields, Lyra's voice cut through the comms. "No, we are stronger than you can imagine. Because we fight not for conquest, but for protection, and that makes all the difference." A daring, non-lethal maneuver saw Guardian fighters disarm the pirate vessel and shepherd the civilians to safety. Within an hour, the entire pirate fleet was adrift, incapacitated, but every single life support system was intact. Rescue ships, a mix of human and Mallory, immediately began picking up ejected pirates and tending to their wounded, a scene of mercy utterly alien to the defeated. On the bridge of the Asterisk Eternal Promise, the defeated pirate leader sat in a comfortable chair, a steaming cup of coffee in his hand, utterly bewildered. He had expected torture, execution, or, at best, enslavement. Instead, Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen sat opposite him, her expression composed. "Why?" he rasped, his voice hoarse with confusion. "Why do you protect beings you barely know? Why do you spare enemies? What do you gain from this?" Lyra looked out at the stars, a faint, distant memory in her eyes. 50 years ago," she began, her voice soft but resonant, "I was a lost child, shipwrecked and alone. Beings I had never met, who owed me nothing, chose to save my life, to keep me warm, to feed me." She turned back to him, her gaze unwavering. "That act of kindness changed everything. It taught us what true strength is. It taught us the value of protection over profit and power. And that, Warlord, is why the Guardian fleet exists." Years had passed since the Battle of Compassion, but on the metallic, grim homeworld of the Hegemony, Warlord Kaelen remained a prisoner of a different kind. He sat alone in his stark chambers, the memory of humanity's unprecedented mercy, a persistent phantom in his mind. He reviewed holographic records of countless defeated empires, the predictable patterns of conquest, the demands for tribute, the humiliation of the vanquished. Yet humanity had taken nothing. They had simply protected. This stark contrast gnawed at his core, a relentless, insidious doubt. What kind of power was this, that rejected the very tenets of strength his species had revered for millennia? "They took nothing. They simply protected," he murmured, his gravelly voice echoing the confusion in his soul. What kind of power is this? The seed of a new, terrifying idea had been planted, slowly beginning to erode the ruthless ideology that had defined his existence. Far across the galaxy, within the shimmering crystal gardens of Haven, Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen knelt beside Xylos. The ancient Kaelen elder's inner light, once so vibrant, had dimmed to a faint, ethereal glow, a clear sign of his approaching end. Lyra gently held his crystalline form, a profound sorrow mingling with deep peace in her heart. Xylos's musical tones, translated directly into her mind, conveyed profound contentment. "You humans, you have made real what we only dared to dream," he resonated, his voice a whisper of light. "They will remember, because we taught them that kindness is not weakness." A single tear traced a path down Lyra's cheek. "Thank you, old friend," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. With a final, gentle shimmer, Xylos's light extinguished completely, leaving Lyra with the enduring weight of his legacy and the unwavering hope he had entrusted to her species. The crystal gardens pulsed softly, as if in quiet respect for the ancient spirit that had now passed into the cosmic memory. Several years after the pirate incident, on a bustling Guardian Fleet diplomatic station, Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen greeted a new arrival, Ambassador Jethar, from a Hegemony world that had bravely rejected the old ways. Jethar, a being whose species once fought under Kaelus, bowed deeply, his gratitude palpable. "Your mercy, Admiral. It changed us," he articulated, his voice tinged with humility. "We wish to join the Guardian Fleet, to learn a new way." Lyra extended a hand in welcome, her smile warm yet resolute. "The path to true peace is long, Ambassador," she acknowledged, "but we welcome you. Your decision is a testament to the hope we all carry." It was a moment of quiet triumph, a direct result of the seed of doubt planted with Warlord Kaelus, now blooming into a fragile, yet powerful, alliance. The mosaic of diverse species on the station, once a distant dream, was slowly, steadily, becoming a reality. The next morning, Admiral Lyra Vance Kaelen stood on the bridge of the Eternal Promise, her gaze lost in the vast, star-dusted tapestry beyond the view-screen. Xylos's legacy, the Covenant, humanity's enduring promise, it all swirled within her. The work was never truly done, she knew, but the unwavering commitment to protection and guidance remained. Commander Torres approached, her expression serious. "New distress signal, Admiral. Theory system," she reported. The Theori, Lyra knew, were a young species still struggling with internal conflict, teetering on the brink of self-destruction, much like humanity had once been. A faint, knowing smile touched Lyra's lips, a reflection of the lessons learned and the wisdom inherited. "Signal the fleet," she ordered, her voice calm and resolute. "Prepare for hyperspace. We have beings to protect. Always." As the Eternal Promise shimmered, preparing its jump into the unknown, Lyra stood as a beacon of an enduring hope, the living embodiment of the Kaelen Covenant, ready to carry its promise into the endless horizon.